Hi, Breana. We are so glad to have you here today and are so glad you could be here for the second episode of this podcast, Where Are You Now?, where we interview former Piedmont students and show how different people have been successful in becoming what they aspired to be and how current students might be able to do similar things. Thank you to our listeners for also tuning in.
Our theme this year is Take 5, so in the interview we might incorporate a few questions that revolve around that concept.
I'm your host, Ania.
And I'm your other host, Sam, and today we will be asking some questions about where you are today and your thoughts on Piedmont. So for our first section, the introduction, could you just give a quick introduction of who you are, where you go to school, and what position you're in?
Hi, my name is Breana Fowler. I'm a current rising senior at North Mecklenburg High School in the International Baccalaureate program, and I'm the current student advisor for the Board of Education for Charlotte-Mecklenburg School District.
So for our second section, which is things about Piedmont, so do you have any interesting moments or memories that you wanted to share that you remember from Piedmont?
An interesting moment or memory that I had from Piedmont would have to be my 8th grade year. I took a field trip with Mr. Reddick in the leadership class I was in, the 6th block that he hosts, and we went to the Hilton, I believe, in downtown for a leadership summit. And it was just really fun and enlightening to see like-minded individuals such as myself and different opportunities there are for teenagers in Charlotte.
That's good. And how did you like the leadership program? Like, what was that about?
So Mr. Reddick's leadership class would have to be the most monumental or memorable thing that I've had at Piedmont. That's what allowed me to understand how to be a leader, what qualities a leader should have. For example, learning how to lead from behind, listening to others, and being quick to listen and slow to speak. Being in that class helped mold me into networking and to the person I am today. So I think everyone should be able to take that class. It's amazing.
In what ways has Piedmont helped or influenced you and your thoughts and where you are today?
The teachers at Piedmont are so helpful and they really want to see the best in you. So Piedmont has instilled a fire in me that I didn't even see when I was your age. When I was 13, 14, I was just trying to get by and get into high school. But my teachers, for example, Mr. Egnott saw, well, he's not a teacher anymore, I don't think, but a teacher at the time saw that I have leadership qualities and I could do bigger things. And through YBLA, the Young Black Leadership Alliance, seeing that curriculum and how to be a leader, yet being able to balance, because we all know that Piedmont's work is difficult and it's hard, being able to balance a tough curriculum, yet the extracurricular activities, sports events, the student balanced lifestyle here at Piedmont is unmatchable.
Yeah, the community is really good. So our next section is about transitioning. So I know you already said you go to North Mecklenburg High School.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like transitioning from middle school to high school?
That's a good question.
I guess were there any adversities or any advice you might give to people who are transitioning, how they can make it easier?
So if you're transitioning from middle to high school, I recommend keeping your mental health first. If the schoolwork that you are trying to complete is not done before 11:59, go to sleep. If you're trying to study, you're not going to retain that information after 12 a.m. Go to sleep. If you feel like you are on the brink and you want to cry, go to sleep. You don't need to burn yourself out at the beginning of the year, and you need to understand that learning is more important than grades. Once you start learning the material, you'll see that your grades will increase because it's inevitable. So just keep in mind your mental health, keep the balance, and always ask your teachers for help. Teachers love to see that their students actually want to learn and their students want to be there. So your 89 might magically become a 90 if you actually are a companion with your teacher, genuinely. Don't try to force it.
Mm-hmm. So our fourth section is about your position as the student advisor to the Board of Education. So could you describe what you do as a student advisor?
So as a student advisor, I represent all K through 12 students in the CMS district. That's 150,000 students in our district. I attend board meetings, our regular board meetings, emergency meetings. I've made appointments to the equity committee. I also am the lead for the District 9 task force. I do different work throughout the district. I try to talk to middle school, high school, and elementary schools while trying to give people opportunities and creating polls and engagement for our students.
So what made you want to even be a part of, incorporated with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Board of Education?
The Board of Education allowed me, I wanted to be involved in the Board of Education because I have a passion for education. I saw there is inequities in our school district, and I wanted to learn more about why they are and how we can make it better. I've been involved in activities such as teen court, which allowed me to help people. However, that is more of a reactive state and not really a proactive. I believe everything starts with education. With the great foundation of education, things can improve tremendously. And with my position on the board, I felt that I could be a change. And this has also been a learning experience, learning the difference between the CMS Board of Education and CMS, the difference between the board and the superintendent work. It's so intricate, and I would love to talk to you all about it, but I know that's too long-winded to do all that.
And why is your job important to you and important in general?
It's important to me because there are so many kids that are so bright but do not have the platform to say what they want to say about education. Being in this position, I've learned that it's not about the age of the student, but the maturity level and the intelligence that one may have. A 16-year-old and a 12-year-old might have amazing ideas, but because they don't know about the opportunities there are for them, they can't express that. And I just hope with my student advisor position that some people may come up to me and tell me those ideas that they may have. I think it's important for people to know, and that's why I want to be in this position. Well, that's why I am in this position.
I know many students at Piedmont and probably other students in middle school around us are interested in this. So what's some advice that you can give people to do as early as middle school if they were interested in pursuing this or something similar?
So right now I'm currently working with the policy committee of the CMS district to see who will be able to be the student advisor succeeding me. Will it be ninth graders, 10th graders, 11th graders, or will we just keep it as 10th graders or 11th graders? So right now, to answer that question, it's going to be kind of hard because we are going through a transition phase. But if you're interested in being a student advisor, do not hesitate to email me because I will have the application info. The application always happens at the first semester of your high school year. It will be a broad application that everyone will be able to fill out. If you are 9th through 11th, it will just ask you basic things about you. Just be honest, be comfortable, and then you might go through an interview round that you can talk to other people so then we can get to know you, or you might talk to board members. Then you might start campaigning so then K through 12 students can all vote for you to see if you could be elected in the position. If you have any other questions, you can let me know. That was probably really vague, and that's because the board is trying to solidify how we're going to do the selection process for this year. Because, let me go back. The student advisor position is going to be from January 1st to December 31st of whenever you want to serve. So I started January 1st of 2021, and I'll be done January 1st of 2021 and December 31st of 2021. That's going to be my year. The next person is going to be January 2022 to December of 2022. And that might be one of you all that's sitting in the room with me right now. So if you have any other questions, just let me know.
So our last section, it's about motivation. So I think many students share the sentiment that, school and education are a task and something you have to do. And given that you've obviously done pretty well in terms of, achieving your goals, what would you say to students who maybe lack that kind of motivation?
I think once you find your passion, you will find the motivation. Many people ask me why I do so much stuff and I don't get paid. Why are you stressing yourself out and ripping and running all that stuff? But if you're passionate about what you're doing, you will do it just for the fun of it. You'll be up at 3 o'clock in the morning just doing work because you like it. If you're doing work and you find it draining and you don't want to do it anymore and you find it stressful, then don't do it. You guys are young. We're young. You have the time and opportunities in the network. Talk to people. Say you're interested in math. Don't just think, oh, I want to take a higher level math class. Think, oh, am I interested in engineering? Am I interested in architecture? How can I make this little itty bitty thing into a big project? For example, I knew I was interested in education, and I said education equity. So I said, how can I be proactive to this goal? I then started the peer mediation program. I talked to people of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg City Council. I talked to the board. How can I have a suspension program so then students who are suspended at a higher rate, which is a problem in CMS, we have a lot of Black and brown children that are suspended at a higher rate compared to their counterparts. How can we get that down? And I decided to make the peer mediation program through the city council and help with the board to get down the suspension rate. So that's just something little, a passion that I had, and I brought it into this big thing. And because they saw that I was a student and I was passionate about it, I got a lot of help. You can't do it all by yourself. You're young, so always ask for help. That's what I would say, ask for help.
Yeah. And I know this is kind of similar, but how do you have any advice specifically to overcoming procrastination, which is, a shared problem?
Mm-hmm. Yes, procrastination is a problem. My little brother has it, and I used to have it as well. Once you get an assignment, especially if you're taking higher level courses, just do it then. You get a homework assignment, do it immediately. You might still be at school, and you could, when I came to Piedmont, I used to come to the cafeteria during lunch. Was it lunch or Healthy Kids?
I think you can come and help.
During Healthy Kids?
I think you can come in both, but yeah.
Okay, so during that period, I used to come to the library so then I could do my work, because I knew when I got home, I had extracurricular activities I had to tend to. So if you could find that little pocket during your day where you can just do it immediately, I would do it. And then if you do it immediately and you have a question, then you can ask your teacher, and you'll probably get a better grade on the assignment because now you know what to do and you don't have any questions.
Yeah, not only do you get it done faster, but you also tend to get a higher grade.
Yep.
So why do you think it's worth working hard in school and education related activities? What drives your motivation in the long term?
That's a good question. What drives my motivation for the long term? I think I just know, my passion. I know that I want to help people. I know I want to help people through education. But it's how am I going to do that? And how can I meet other people along my journey in order to reach the goals that I have? For example, I really want to own a school. I really want to own a boarding school so then I can help more kids. I know I want to have a scholarship in my name. I know that I want to do these things, but it's you just want to try your best, because the best is all you can do. And people will recognize that you're trying your best and you're following your passions and you're working hard. there's not really much I can do. I'm 17. I don't really know. I'm just trying the best I can.
And then our final question, kind of just about nervousness. Like when you go into these meetings, or whatever they're called, like do you feel pressure on that, and like how do you overcome that?
So if you're interested in being on the board or anything like this, there's a lot of prep. I never do it alone. I never just walk into a board meeting not knowing what's going to happen. I always receive a lot of prep calls, a lot of committee meetings, so I know exactly what's going to happen. It's not that I'm nervous for what's happening, but maybe like the public, how the public is going to view me, how the news is going to put me in an article. Am I going to use the right words and the right verbiage? How will it be impacted for other people? So the most nervous I get is when we have public comments and the public is right in front of my face and they're saying what they like and don't like that I'm doing. That could be the most nerve-wracking, because you just want to try your best and you want to help others. But once you're in that position, you realize that everyone's not going to be happy. Someone's going to be upset by the choice that you made, and you just have to try your best. That's why you were elected.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Thank you.
So we really appreciate you coming today and answering all of our questions, and it was really interesting to hear your perspective of working with the Charlotte Board of Education, because I'm not gonna lie, personally, I didn't really know that this was a whole position before we started doing research and working on this podcast, and it was really inspirational to hear everything that you had to say about it. But thank you to whoever might be listening, and thank you for you being here, and we hope you'll tune in for our 3rd episode coming soon.